Naturally, it's not all smooth sailing for distance educators, and most institutions are facing significant challenges, both on a local and a global scale. We asked Professor Dominic Abreu of Athabasca University what particular challenges he faced in Canada.
Well, we face an immediate challenge and a short-term challenge of accommodating growth solely based on tuition revenue. Our business plan for the last 3 years and for the next 3 years calls for the university to grow by 10% per year based on student enrollment tuition. And it certainly is possible, and I think I know that we've done it without sacrificing quality, but we need to constantly reinvent the university. And one of the problems or the challenges that I've noticed, particularly in the last couple of years, is that the success of Athabasca since mid-90s is actually leading to a certain institutional complacency.
A particular global challenge is whether to create mega-universities or build consortia of existing universities. Sir John Daniel, what advantage does a mega-university have over a consortium?
Yes, I think the mega-universities have the advantage of tight focus. And any consortium, whether it's for making widgets or running railways or whatever, the difficulty increases as the power of the number. So 2 is twice as difficult, 3 is 9 times as difficult, and so on and so forth. And it's also that a consortium of traditional face-to-face institutions trying to do distance learning, it's kind of always the second priority. And the other thing is that I talked a moment ago about this balance between quality, cost, and access. In a way, in distance learning, quality increases with size, which is the exact opposite of normal things. So if you try and do distance learning on a small scale, you tend to wind up with poor quality distance learning.
David Stewart, what new challenges do current students pose for distance educators?
Well, again, I'm not sure whether this is a worldwide true statement, but it seems to me that students are busier people than they were 20 years ago. There are more calls on their time. People are more engaged with a whole series of other activities other than studying, and they expect responses, therefore, in a quicker time than they used to do. And perhaps that has arisen from the media, because of course now if you want to book a flight to Australia, that's if you're silly enough to want to go there for your holidays, but if you wanted to book a flight to Australia, you book it on the web. You don't wait until the travel agent is open the next day and go down and browse through things. You browse, and you can also see what the competition is, whether it's Qantas or British Airways or whoever else it is that happens to be. So we've got a person who is expecting a different sort of communication and is more demanding than they were in the past.
Many institutions are now getting involved in distance education. Bruce King, how is this affecting distance education in general and quality in particular?
And I think that has all kinds of repercussions for quality. I mean, we used to be able to make very sensible judgments about what we were doing because our distance education resources were tangible. You could look at the print materials, you could make judgment about the design features, about the instructional design, about the general quality of presentation, and you could look at the support services that were being provided for students. A lot of that's gone by the board, because what's happening is that we have individual academics sitting in their offices with a terminal in front of them who are engaging with their students by email, sending out resources on the web. And while they might be using a conventional platform that's been endorsed by the university, there's probably a limited degree of quality control over that. So in a sense, the very tangible nature of the print-based approaches to distance education and the great systems that were necessary for a university to administer support, say, to thousands of students at a time, have been, to some extent, minimised, or they have been disturbed by the developments towards more flexible approaches on a more universal scale.